What's going on, everybody? So, today we're going to just go through some news about the industry as a whole because, of course, when we participate in it, it's best to keep up to date with what's going on and what's happening in the world of trucking, transportation, logistics, whichever branch you fall under, no matter what it is that you're doing. One of the first things I want to touch base on is this whole FMCSA delay on speed limiter rules for the United States all the way up to May 2025. So, what they're doing right now is the federal regulators are actually delaying several rulemakings affecting the trucking sector, including a controversial rule that would limit new trucks' engine speeds. Now, this already exists in some parts of North America. For example, for us up here in Ontario, we do have truck speed limiter rule as well. So the FMCSA proposed truck speed limiter rule to be scheduled to be published last month, actually, but it has since then delayed to May 2025. And according to the U.S. Department of Transportation, during their latest agenda released by the White House Office of Management and Budget, they said that they would actually delay uh, this proposed law. In addition to this proposed rule, which would require that trucks weighing over 26,000 pounds would be equipped with an electronic speed governor to set the device at a they don't yet know exactly what maximum speed that would be, but this was originally scheduled to be issued by mid 2023. Obviously, that never happened. And the date for the controversial proposal, which generated close to 16,000 comments, has now been delayed three times since the proposed change. Also, they're delaying by 8 months some other proposed changes. For example, the electronic logging device operations, including whether the electronic logging device mandate would or should apply to pre 2000 engines. Okay, so I guess we'll see where that takes us. And a notice of proposed rulemaking scheduled for October 2024 has been pushed back to June 2025. In addition to this, a joint FMCSA and National Highway Traffic Safety Administration final rule to require performance standards and maintenance requirements for automatic emergency braking systems on heavy trucks was also delayed until January 2025, 9 months after its scheduled date of April 2024. Now, this in combo FMCSA and NHTSA issued in June last year was mandated by the bipartisan infrastructure law signed in 2021. Collision avoidance technology has also appeared on the National Transportation Safety Board's most wanted list of safety regulations. Some other delayed rulemaking dockets include automated driving systems in heavy trucks, improving safety for female truck drivers, and a new physical qualification standards for truck drivers with epilepsy was also delayed until June 2025. The agenda also showed revisions to drug and alcohol clearinghouse procedures, so keep up to date to that to better account for controlled substance violations. And this is scheduled for sometime this month in July after being delayed from November 2023. FMCSA also officials were not immediately available to comment about this kind of stuff, so they're still kind of waiting to figure out when is the right time to get ridiculed by the public. So we'll see where that takes us. If obviously if you guys are looking to get more of this kind of news, you guys can take a look at places like Freight Waves. They are always talking about all kinds of industry related stuff. So you guys can reach out to them and or to their freightwaves.com website to get full updated details as they do arise or do come out. Another thing in the industry that's going on right now is, of course, because we know how the rates are and the volumes and all that kind of stuff, there has been an actual decline in truck transportation jobs reported for June. And in addition to this, it it really was an uneventful month in June for people looking for transportation jobs. It has dropped, not by a crazy amount, but nonetheless, there has been a drop, a decline of about 100 jobs. Nonetheless, a decline. In addition to this, when you were looking at the seasonally adjusted figure for May, that was 1,548,700 jobs, and that was down 1,400 jobs from what was posted a month earlier for May. The April figure, which is now final until the big full year revision in February report, that was down by 700 jobs. Okay. The net result of the latest changes and the most negative numbers have been racked up in the last 2 years. And that's what we've kind of been seeing also. Of course, there's companies going bankrupt left, right, and center when it comes to the trucking world. So we'll see where it takes us and how long this pain that we're going through right now lasts with that in respect. Another thing I want to just touch base on is some information just about truck crashes. So most deaths in large truck crashes are passenger vehicle occupants. Of course, we would all think that would be the case. The main problem is the vulnerability of people traveling in smaller vehicles and certain decisions made by smaller vehicles, for example, like trucking, cutting off trucks as an example. Trucks often weigh 20 to 30 times as much as a passenger car and are taller with greater ground clearance, of course. So this can definitely result in smaller vehicles underwriting trucks and crashes when it does happen. Truck braking capabilities can definitely be a factor in truck crashes. Loaded tractor trailers require up to 40% more distance than cars to stop. And the discrepancy is greater on wet and slippery roads or with poorly maintained brakes. Truck driver fatigue is also a known crash risk. Drivers of large trucks are allowed by federal hours of service regulations to drive up to 11 hours in the United States at a stretch of time. And it also indicates that many drivers violate the regulations and work longer than permitted, which is not good. A total of 4,764 people died in large truck crashes in 2022. 17% of these deaths were truck occupants, 66% were occupants of cars and other vehicles, and 16% were pedestrians, bicyclists, or motorcyclists. Okay. And the number of people who died in large truck crashes were 51% higher in 2022 than in 2009. When it was the lowest it has been since the collection of fatal crash data began in 1975. That was in that was a long time ago, and the number of truck occupants who died was 83% higher than in 2009. Okay, so we've just continuously seen. Obviously, we saw a decline. Okay, we saw a decline from 1976, 1975, where the numbers were like large truck occupants. In other words, people inside the truck who passed away were just under 1,100 people. That was back in 1976, and then 1977, 1978, 1979 we saw in the range of like 1,300 truck drivers die. And then what happened was we saw a decline. We started to see like 900 numbers, 800 numbers, 500. We actually back in the best year ever, if we can even say the best year. I mean, it's bad no matter how you look at it. But for when we look back in 2009, there was 449 large truck occupant deaths in truck crashes and 2,223 passenger vehicle occupants who died due to truck crashes. But since then, we have seen a massive incline in what's and a massive increase in the amount of people that have passed away due to truck crashes and stuff like that. So we got to do something about that. Obviously, this industry needs a lot more help when it comes to regulations, but I don't know exactly if it can come through regulations and money. right? It seems like governments just, when there is a problem, they just throw money at problems, or hush money at problems. And I don't really know if that's a good way to deal with this kind of stuff, because it's not good. We need to do something about it, um, so we can statistically see less of these things happening. Okay, when we look at um, you know this data, it's important to start seeing year over year declines, and it's just not what we're seeing. It's just not what we're seeing, which is wild. And one interesting fact is, if you were to look at like truck crashes and other crashes by the time of day, okay, you would think like, okay, midnight to 3 a.m. would probably be, you know, pretty darn high. But as a whole, most accidents are happening between noon and 9 p.m. So between noon and 9 p.m. is most of these fatal accidents are happening, when it comes to truck crashes. Okay, which is wild, which is absolutely wild. Just thinking about that, like that's a big number. So like, y- and depending on which days of the week, Saturday is the most accident prone day, in terms of other crashes that are not related to trucking, whereas the days that trucks are involved, the most active days are Sunday and excuse me, not Sunday, Friday, and Fridays are double what any of the other days of the week are. So whatever that's worth, that's the highest percentage of truck crashes happening if you were to split it up by the week in or the day of the week which it happens. So it's yeah, there's a lot of statistical things we can look at and see where we can improve as a society here in North America to try to limit this kind of stuff, which is crazy. Also, the percentage or number of fatalities injured in large truck and passenger vehicles with blood alcohol content or concentrations to be higher than the 0.08 percentage. Um, when you're looking at that, we've been pretty darn good. Like, it's not, I mean, it would be great if those numbers were zero. However, um, they're not zero, and a lot of people have passed away, but they're lower than you probably would expect, but it's still too high for my liking, if you were to ask me. So, for truck drivers, where the alcohol content was higher than 0.0%, 0.08%, excuse me, in 2022, that number was 27 truck drivers, 27. And that resulted in 727 deaths of people. Okay. Um, which is craziness. Okay. Another one is, if you look back to like 2008 or in 2009, we only had 19 drivers and 16 drivers. The best year ever on record was 2011. Again, we're saying that relatively the best year, statistically speaking, would be 2011, where we only had nine registered uh, truck drivers who had a blood alcohol content level of greater than 0.08 percent, which is where we would all love to be. I mean, 27, or we'll see what the statistics are looking like that are coming out in a couple days in terms of 2023 studies, but and statistical analysis. But we'd all love to get below nine. In general, would be fantastic news for all of us, saving lives just by not driving under the influence of really anything, but especially not alcohol. With that being said, okay. So yeah, we'll see. That's all the news I have for you guys today. But yeah, if you guys want more information, you guys can always take a look at freightwaves.com and take a look at any more information they may have in regards to anything going on really in the industry of logistics, trucking, transportation, etc., etc., etc. So there you have it.